How's it going, everyone? This is Mustard here, and I'm super excited because today I get to talk to all of you about Frost, the Kameo fighter from MK1. Now, EVO 2023 was over the last weekend, and Ketchup was there in person for commentary reasons. And whilst there, he was able to get some direct capture time thanks to Warner Brothers to get some hands-on time with the game and try out the beta build, which included the playable Lee May and Johnny Cage, and for the topic of today's video, Frost. Now, Ketchup was still away at the time of this video being made, EVO last weekend and QuakeCon this weekend, but he was still able to get some time with this build, play it on the show floor, learn some stuff, and the footage he captured, we can still edit, chop it up, and turn it into videos, which is what's going to be happening through the week. And today features a full in-depth breakdown of the latest playable Kameo fighter, Frost. Now, I will reiterate one more time that we were able to get this footage thanks to Warner Brothers in person, so thank you to them. And of course, this is pre-release, so everything you're about to see could very well change by the time launch day rolls around. Frost was the fourth Kameo fighter in the latest public build from EVO 2023, and boy, did we manage to find out just what this character is capable of. A different take on a Kameo fighter from the previous three in the stress test, Frost provides a combination of safety, mix-up, combo potential, and even potentially some set play in theory. The footage you're about to see is a combination of various characters we paired with her. Lee May, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang, just to show a more varied idea of her potential. With all that said, let's get stuck into just what Frost can provide for you in Mortal Kombat 1. Starting off is her forward throw. Some Kameo fighters have a unique element to theirs. Frost does not. It sends you back to roughly mid-screen, and that's it really. The Kameo attacks are where it's at for this character, as firstly we have Frost's ground freeze right out of Deadly Alliance, performed with forward plus Kameo. It does a ton of different things at once. It's a full combo stun on hit, but it also sports impressive range, similar to Deadly Alliance, and in this game it hits as a low attack. This is a big deal, as if you've played Mortal Kombat before, you know that many strings in this game end in lows, mids, and sometimes, and most importantly, overheads. Characters with an overhead in their string can use this Frost low as a mix-up option. Note that ground freeze does not restand. Should it connect after a launch, it will simply freeze them as they are. Up next, Frost has this creeping ice style attack, similar to Sub-Zero in MK11. This appears to be a single, simple hit, and admittedly, Ketchup didn't have too much time to find out what this move might do beyond just being a single hit strike. It is fast though, so who knows? Maybe it's just a safe ender or something. This attack is performed with neutral Kameo. However, this is where Frost becomes much more interesting. She actually has 4 Kameo attacks. As if the player holds down the neutral Kameo button, Frost does something else. A flurry of punches that does good chip damage and pushes the opponent far away. An attack like this is usually really good at dealing chip damage in crucial situations, although it does do a decent amount of standard damage if it connects on hit. You can't combo from it in the corner or anything, as Ketchup did try that, but in theory, this punch walk that Frost performs is scary in chip to kill scenarios. MK1 does let the defender flawless block mid-block string, so it's not going to be a checkmate, but it is going to test the execution of a defender in clutch situations. Now the Kameo that some of you may have been waiting for. It's this. By pressing back and Kameo together, Frost summons an ice orb that moves slowly towards the opponent, tracking them. It homes in, and should it connect, the opponent is stunned for a full combo, with a traditional Sub-Zero style freeze. This attack does have pretty significant startup time, but the sheer function of a slow-moving, homing projectile is something to be afraid of. End a basic combo in this to set it up into potentially set play situations. Mix them up into it, throw them into it, who knows, but the potential here is rather disgusting. Now keep in mind it's an early build, so the properties of this may be different at some point, but we just wanted to cover the basics of the move. This is something we assume players will lab extensively the moment they get their hands on the Kameo. Some of you have noticed, but while Frost does have 4 Kameo attacks, the one thing she lacks is an ambush Kameo. All 4 of these are summons, which, for those unaware, means that the user is stuck in place while she performs the move. It means the Kameo attacks have to be dedicated to a lot more, and you won't be able to summon her whenever you want. But the utility this character provides is where the lack of ambush comes from. Collectively, Frost gives you safety on block, chip damage, 2 different ways to freeze, a free neutral and potential set play in orb. There's just tons to work with here that you can basically combine with any character in this game and be well on your way. Let's talk about combos though, because this is an area Frost can possibly shine. Frost having access to a low hitting freeze with good range is a powerful tool to have, from a mix-up standpoint. Take Lee May's forward 4-4. This is an overhead ender with a simple knockdown attached, but if you go forward 4 into the low freeze, we've just introduced an overhead low mix-up that, yeah, the overhead is the safer one to take, but the low will combo and now you have something to fear whenever the forward 4 is blocked. This is merely a single example as well. Sub has an overhead ender, Liu Kang has an overhead ender. It's a very common tool for a character to have in general. The multiple freezes landing to varied combos is another universally powerful tool. If a character has a combo tool like a launcher, but it requires dedication and can't be hit confirmed, Frost's ground freeze becomes that hit confirm instead. If a character lacks a special that leads to a large combo, but their launchers do, confirming into ground freeze and then going for the launcher just adds a significant piece of utility to your toolset. Using Liu Kang as the example this time, if Liu lands his forward 4-3, he'd usually have to spend a bar of meter on enhanced flying kick. With Frost, the forward 4-3 becomes ground freeze instead, keeping the super meter for other things, and the rest of the combo is untouched. Just keep in mind that freezes can sometimes add damage scaling to a combo. And speaking of combo scaling, this is something to keep in mind. Excessive freezes in the same combo do scale like mad. Frost can technically hit her homing orb and then do a freeze, but it scales a lot. Sub-Zero can freeze you up to 5 times with his triple ground freeze, Ice Ball, and Frost Assist, but again, the scaling does apply. Not the worst thing though, as this many freezes does lead to impressive corner carry if nothing else. At a base level, Frost will give grounded stuns on command and lead to slightly larger combos than a base character can do on their own, but this isn't something only she can do. We've already seen that other cameos yet to be played have moves that stun the opponent as well. The question is, what will Frost do in particular that's worth looking out for? And this is where the orb really comes into play. This move is where Frost can potentially lie in a high level sense. It's going to take time and obviously substantial amount of training mode to really figure this out. But on paper, this move does so much for pressure, mix-ups, and as I said earlier, potentially set play. But due to the fact that this attack is so slow on startup, she will need it to be paired with the right character with the right amount of knockdown frames or existing specials to keep the opponent afraid of just running in and stopping you from using it. Hard to show the potential with a limited capture time, but once we see Frost in the hands of the masses, I'm quite excited to see where this orb could go. In theory, this could be her most powerful move. And a quick note added from Mustard as well, all of these attacks in my opinion are even more versatile than we've said already. I think there really is a potential for long range characters choosing her and using these in tandem with powerful zoning tools, right? You hit a large projectile, you send the orb out, you can have that space to go for the low ground freeze when they'd normally be trying to kind of walk and block dash their way in. I can see her being versatile with even long range characters, so definitely a character to keep an eye on because she has a lot of versatility. Hopefully this video helped you understand a bit more of Frost at a technical level, and we thank Warner Brothers and NetherRealm for allowing this capture session from EVO 2023. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.